Hello, hello. It is Trish TV, and this is Leadership Week. Going to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and also my podcast on Build Resilience with Trish Jenkins. So I put the audio up to the podcast. Today, we're going to talk about, because we're leaders, it's going to be a little bit stronger than what I do for other people. We're going to be talking about how our insecurities manifest. We're going to be talking about, are you still M.I.A? Are you still missing in action? All right, come on, guys. I'm going to coax you out. Let's enjoy.
The strongest prison bars are in your head. Leaders and teams, it's time for a jailbreak.
Hey, and here we are. Well, my goodness, right? And what I'm going to do, which I am not always able to do really fast because I've got to refresh pages, is I'm going to just take this Facebook on Trish TV podcast and pop it to my personal page, or I might have to do it after. We'll see. So feel free to join in as we go along. Now, here are some thoughts in regards to this. And why would I want to talk about insecurities when leaders are supposed to have it all together? Right. So leadership magnifies your insecurities. It doesn't make you, well, it can make you more insecure, but it does put a spotlight on them. They're going to show up. Now, how some leaders respond to this, they may refuse to acknowledge that they have any insecurities. That's quite normal. But quite often they will be missing in action. They will post and run as a substitute for actually leading and bringing encouragement and direction and so on that's needed. So in the workplace, it might look like, you can give the orders. You might try to remember a motivating line that you read that morning from Twitter, and then you disappear and nobody can disturb you because you are just so busy. And when we're insecure, being a leader gives us an excuse to avoid what we don't want to do and avoid those we don't want to spend time with. But you see, your staff don't have access to that kind of self-indulgence. And that's what it is. Because you're the one with the power. You're the one who gets to choose most of the time because you're the boss. When you're a staff member, you've got to show up, do your job. But the boss can say, all right, then I've got things to do. I'll just leave you here. And they can just go and disappear for a bit. Now, it's not always in the workplace either. So it might be that you lead a group outside of the workplace, and it might be an organization that has a cause, or it might be a faith organization. Now, look, sometimes I'll do posts that are just exclusively for the ministry side of things, which, I do ministry as well as the business side, but some of them really work for both. So I will mention in that category from time to time. So you may post something on Facebook as a substitute for actually having coffee with someone and having a meeting and just not even having a meeting about something that needs to be talked about, but because if you're only having meetings with people and conversations with people who need to be dealt with, or that you want them to do something, then that's called having an agenda. And it's not a healthy agenda because you don't build relationship like that. Part of leadership is also encouraging and building connection. So if you only call someone into your office to correct them or get them to do something, then and you leave your reviews yearly or however often you do them, you're not doing them any favors. They will not trust what you're saying. But if you have an ongoing relationship with them where they are not scared to be sent to your office. Oh, can I meet you at 3 o'clock? You know, it's like they're going to be, and it's 10 o'clock. What are they going to be thinking and feeling between 10 and 3? If you don't have any idea of how that makes them feel, you're the one with a problem, because you have a total lack of empathy. If you think that shouldn't be a problem, you've got a problem. And that would be, that's something I could go into in a whole nother post. So I'm not saying this to give you a hard time. I just want to bring out that we have to be honest with ourselves. Like I said yesterday, we've got to be honest with ourselves. And if we're feeling a bit insecure, if you're feeling a bit reluctant to show up in a personal way, in person, you know, if you're a post and run kind of guy, kind of gal, oh, let's tell someone you love them today, but you only ever talk to the people in your inner circle. Well, you know, it's easy enough to tell people you love them when they're right there. But what about the person that's on the periphery that isn't in your immediate group? You know, oh, it's uncomfortable. Oh, you know, that's going to take me outside my comfort zone. What if it's in the workplace and it's someone that's not your direct report, but you could at least go by and compliment what they're doing or make an observation about their skill. You can be, because you don't know where they're going to end up. With the right encouragement, they might end up your boss. But with the right encouragement, they could be part of your team. They might want to be on your team because you're someone who actually notices and cares. You're not missing in action. One thing I observed during COVID is that there were some leaders who were, right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make sure people are good, that they're cared about, that they're connected, that they're knitting in. And yet there were others who took it as a holiday, and you can't find them. You couldn't get in touch with them. You call them and say, hey, can we talk? And they're like, oh, yeah. Oh, but I'm so busy. Yeah, sorry, I haven't been in touch. I'm so busy. Yeah, and it's not just church people. It can be anything. It can be in the workplace when you've got big deals going on. Yes, you're busy. Yeah, you're busy. Busy. Okay, busy is something else that can disguise an insecurity. And here's a news flash. If you're too busy, you're doing it wrong. If you're too busy to delegate properly, that is your insecurity. That is your need to control and make sure things are going along the way you want them. And yet you can be controlling and without being engaged. You can be one, there are often leaders who will delegate something to someone and then take it off them because it wasn't done the way they would do it, which cripples people. It totally disempowers them. You know, you cannot be, you just can't be here and there. You've got to know what your insecurities are and deal with them. And as we go through, I'm going to share with you one of the most powerful ways to deal with your insecurities. We all have them. We all feel insecure. We all get that imposter syndrome, like, who the heck am I to be doing this? And what if someone finds out that or maybe I know what I'm doing because of whatever, and they just need to do what I tell them, or they're being disruptive or rebellious or whatever. That's insecurity. It's not going to help you. So, and I'm telling you this because I do care, because I see these things, because I'm involved with lots of people who lead lots of things, and I observe and I see it online, and I'm also in groups, and I'm there and I see it firsthand, and I'm going to call it out because you know what? I'm doing this because no one's paying me to do this. I get paid to speak. I get paid to do workshops. This is me sharing what I know and trusting that there are organisations out there who want this fair income stuff so that their leaders can be empowered by someone who's not just going to tell them what they want to hear. I'll do it gently, I'll do it nicely, but I'll tell you what you need to hear. So here's the thing about busy. Busy is not a badge of honour. Now, my brother is a pastor, and he will tell you, and I texted him today to check that I got this quote right. He says, those who say they are too busy are too lazy. No, I didn't say that. He did. And if you wanted, okay, his name is Pastor Cameron Ross. He's at Awesome Church, Bribey Island, and he's one who will say it like it is. But his idea is, and Cameron, you can comment on here and correct me if I've got this wrong, but as I understand it, when, oh no, I'm too busy to do that, they just don't want to. Now, for me, I give a bit more of the benefit of the doubt. I'd say they're just not organised. They haven't got their priorities right. And he'd say they haven't got their priorities right because they're lazy. They just don't want to. They want the title, but they don't want to do. He's a little bit tougher than me. But sometimes it's like that. We think, oh, I've got some, I just don't feel like that. And that's where leaders can hide in their office with a do not disturb on. And if that's the boss, who's gonna interrupt that? Who's going to do that and risk the wrath of someone who actually is insecure and is going to react? We don't need to be that way. I remember when we first went to City Point at Carindale and had a meeting with Pastor Mark Ramsey. This is a church of thousands. And I was aware, we'd had this meeting because we were joining the church, and this was back in 2005. And I said, look, I know you're busy, so we'll just keep in touch from time to time. He said, it's not that I'm busy. He said, you do have to make an appointment, and we can have a meeting. He said, it's just that I'm not always here. So if you make an appointment, we can meet, we can talk. And I went, wow. He's just not rushed. He's not flustered. He's calm. He knows his calling. He knows his role. He's not insecure. There's just Dashi barking at someone just outside the door. Hey, love.
Hi, are you on the phone?
No, I'm doing a broadcast.
Oh, I got my car back.
Thank you. Great. Good. Yay, she had a car repaired. All right. So, so here's the thing. We make time for what's really important. We make time for whatever our priorities are. And I'm going to talk about the workplace, but I'm also going to talk about not-for-profit and other areas where the interchange the word care, when you care for those in your charge that you're leading, and in a church setting, it's love. We claim to love those that we're serving because leaders serve, which we talked about yesterday. So I was pondering, and I made some notes on my phone, which I've transferred to my notes, which I've got on my screen here behind the camera. And I was thinking about this. And I was thinking about this particular leader who I almost felt embarrassed listening. And my compassion, I just was like, oh. And I wrote down in my phone, I didn't send it to anyone, but I just thought, he was just it just represented what a lot of people feel and express. But I wrote, leaders, can you love me more than your insecurities? Because what I was observing was that insecurity is a hindrance to caring for me. If I were an employee, the insecurity is a hindrance to providing me what I need to do my job properly. That encouragement, the training, the correction done in a way that is for my benefit. Correction is for someone's benefit, not so you can vent your bad temper, your frustration. So I wrote, can you love me more than your insecurities? Can you love those in your care more than your insecurities? What do you call those you lead? Because that will show how you feel about them. What do you call your staff, your followers? What do you call them? Are they those in your care? Are they those you are responsible for? Are they those you are responsible to? They're those you lead. They're those you've been entrusted with. So, going public with my embarrassing story of stuffing it up, going to prison, why would I go public with that? And I'll tell you why. Because my message was more important than my pride. And your pride is about shielding your insecurities. Yeah? Think about that one. My focus was on caring about the ones who heard it more than caring about my insecurities. So when you care more about those you lead than you do about your insecurities, when it's no longer about you, you'll find that your insecurities have dissolved. And those who have been entrusted to you, actually will trust you. How about that? There's something to think about. So you don't have to live with those insecurities. When you focus on those you serve as a leader, your insecurities will gradually dissolve. Trish Jenkins, this is Trish TV, talking leadership. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things that people are, we encourage you to do, please do, and share what you think. All righty. Cheers.